So this is catching in the interphalangeal joint, right?
Okay, yeah.
So it's this piece of tissue right here, this tendon that will not let go. Now we have a catch here too at the metacarpophalangeal joint. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to feel that tendon directly.
Uh-huh.
And then move it from side to side. So we're moving the tendon, checking for directionality. It moves pretty well from side to side. It moves down really well into the joint, but it does not move in an upward direction. It will not elongate well. I'm going to come down over the joint. The metacarpal at the distal end is pushed palmar, and the phalange at the proximal end, the proximal phalange is pushed distal.
Okay.
So let's take both of those, and then again, we're going to test that tissue and move the tissue in the direction that it will go. Both of these are moving lateral and toward the wrist. Now, sometimes with contractures, what we have is nodules on the tendon.
Yeah.
So then we want to take those nodules and test those for directionality. How will they move, right? Which direction do they move in? Crazy videotaping.
When you say you check the knots, are you just the knot?
Yeah, the nodule is going to be really adhered to the fascia along the bone, to the tendinous sheath. It'll be really stuck.
Is that a little bit like how you work with scars then? Not so much.
A little bit, but you have different types of scar tissue. So we work with scars in different ways. This is adhered fascia, basically.
Okay.
Yep, you got it. So does that hurt you? Yep.
Does it feel like now with this position?
Now we're going back into it.
You feel it moving. Does it hurt when it moves?
Yeah.
There. The whole thing just opened up.
I felt it. Oh, yeah.
So that moves a whole
Way
lot better. This is still a little bit sticky. Not quite as much as it was before, but it's still popping a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to come to this joint, which is unhappy.
I agree.
This proximal phalange is back. The distal phalange is forward. And then they're both compressed together along that medial side of the joint. So the posterior position at the distal end of the proximal phalange, that's a flexion position. But the anterior position at the proximal end of the distal phalange, that's an extension position. So they're not working in cooperation with each other. That's why we're getting that stickiness as she moves. That's better. We have a nodule right here, right over the top of the joint. So there's a bump right there. Feel
Okay,
it.
so you found it
Here,
Yeah, I see it.
right? So that
Great,
bump
right.
is the only thing that we have left now. So we want to know which direction that's moving. So that's moving medial and kind of up toward that distal phalanx. Checking that phalange to see if it's moving anterior still, if it's still in an extended position. It's really not. We just need this tendinous sheath right here to let go.
So is that nodule just like what is the nodule? Is it scar tissue or do we know?
It's
It
thickened
doesn't matter.
fascia.
Okay,
We could call that scar tissue.
okay.
It's
just tissue that
fascia
needs to
that
be moved.
isn't moving well
Okay.
for one reason or the other. Okay, that's much better. Try that.
Yeah,
Wow.
I couldn't do that before. Great.
Okay.